I try not to err on the side of assuming anyone's faking a delusion. To assume someone's faking delusion means to presume they are volitionally pretending to have symptoms with the intent to deceive me. It's very rare. That'd be something called malingering. More often, what I try to distinguish is between psychotic delusions and non-psychotic delusions. What I found is most of the time patients are telling the truth and they're just kind of confused about their symptoms. So I've had patients that they interpret their inner monologue as voices in their head, which is not unreasonable to think about when you're not sure how to interpret a voice in your head and haven't heard a true auditory hallucination. But here's the thing about auditory hallucinations. They don't sound like they're in your head. A true psychotic auditory hallucination sounds like something else in the room. And you actually question whether or not you hear it or it was coming from somewhere. It won't feel like it's coming from one side of your head or the other side of your head. It'll just feel like it's just outside of you. Another thing that's really common with psychotic delusions is that people are distressed by them. So it's kind of gives me pause or as a red flag when someone's describing a hallucination and then also how much they love it. So if someone says, "There's a ghost whispering in my ear," and I'm like, "Oh, how does it make you feel?" And they're like, "It scares me, but I love it." It's really inconsistent with psychosis. So it's not like a smoking gun to say like this is absolutely not true, but it just makes me question it a little bit. The other thing that comes with these perceptual disturbances is how they interact with things around the room. So for example, televisions and TVs, phones, radios, people feel they have connections to them. So it's really common for someone to think that there are being messages sent to them by the radio, or that they'll have thoughts being planted in their head, or they can read minds. But something that's almost never been documented in schizophrenia is reading animals' minds or talking to animals. So if I have any suspicion, I might ask, "Hey, can you talk to animals? Or can animals communicate with you?" And if they jump on that right away, it gives me a little bit of pause. But a lot of times with psychotic patients, they'll say, "I feel like the TV is talking specifically to me. Like I know it's sending me a message." And then I'll ask them about animals and they'll be like, "No, that's stupid. Why would an animal talk to me?" And then they go back to discussing their hallucinations. And this is all a global picture. So in addition to these positive symptoms or hallucinations or ideas of reference, I'm looking at someone's overall affect and organization. A flat or blunted affect is relatively hard to fake. You can kind of sit like this, but even normal people have micro expressions. So if they shrug like that, or they're trying to act really slow, and there you go. Like that little shrug right there, that's a micro expression. And a lot of them are involuntary. So if someone looks really depressed and they look flat, I can still observe those like small micro expressions, and it kind of helps me shy away from saying they're like truly psychotic.